Let's get it. Welcome back to the YouTube channel, guys. This is Ian McQuinney. I don't really do videos like this often, but I'm really excited to do this. Using a whiteboard, we've had this for like 2 months now, and I haven't even touched it for a YouTube video. So I thought I'd put it to use finally and get something going. So let's chop it up real quick. So basically, what I'm going to be talking about today is how I brought my vision to reality in 5 simple steps. So the first one, I'm going to write on the board right here. This is the biggest thing for me, especially when you're first starting. Back when I was like in high school, I was going through a really dark period in my life. I was depressed, I was shy, I had like no confidence. Overall, I just didn't like who I was, and I just let it affect me. I didn't really do much about it, and I would just sit around and be like, you know what, this is how it is. You know, I'm sad all the time, boom. And it was a terrible time. So what happened was COVID came around, and the cough, you know, kind of made everyone have to stay alone, indoors, in solitude, quiet, and away from everyone. And while this sucks for a lot of people, it sounds crazy, was probably the best part of my life ever, simply because it forced me to get comfortable being alone, to, you know, change my mind and rewire everything and, you know, become a different person. So before I get too far into this, what I'm going to say is that you first need to acknowledge the fact, I probably spelled that wrong. You have to acknowledge the fact that you're not in the place you want to be in. You have to acknowledge the fact that your life could be so much better, that you are barely at your pinnacle. You're not even close to where you could be. And the biggest reason why a lot of people don't like getting to this point is because it's hard. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and you have to basically change everything you're doing in your life. But once you first acknowledge the fact that, man, I've been living a lie my whole entire life. I am not living up to my full potential. I'm not being who I could be. That's when the gears start turning, and that's when things start to change for the better, simply because you realize what is possible and you're not doing it. So that kind of like, for me, changed my life, where I realized like, okay, I have all of this potential. There's so many things I want to do, so many things that I could be doing, but I'm not doing it. And if I do it, what could happen as a result of that, right? So that immediately got me excited. When you can first acknowledge what you're going through and know that it's not forever, that's when everything starts to change. You just have to first realize, this is not who I am, this is not what I'm meant for. Then you can, you know, take the steps to create the reality you want to live. So acknowledge is the first thing. So now that we got that covered, I'm gonna put this like in the top left, just so that you guys can, you know, see this. So 1 is acknowledge. Right, cool. So number 2, the next step in this is to basically rewire your brain. You have to unlearn every single thing that you've done up until that point. So whether it's what your parents said is impossible, whether it's a self-doubt and the belief system that you have, whether it's school and what your teachers are telling you, whether it's just overall you're just not where you want to be and you have this really negative outlook on life, you need to rewire your brain and unlearn all the false beliefs and bullshit that was forced and placed into your mind growing up. And what this is just subconscious programming. So the more that you consume something, the more you're susceptible to believing it. So whether it's true or false, the more you consume something about a topic, this goes in politics too. I hate getting into politics, but if you are strictly, heavily believing in the conservative views on the right side, then you're going to be obviously on the right side of things. You're going to believe in a more conservative manner. But the same thing goes for if you're on the left side where you're more liberal. That is the same exact thing as mindset. You have to make sure that you're consuming the right stuff to get in the right headspace of where you want to be. So if you're always consuming negative things, you're always listening to really, you know, sad music, it's as deep as that. Or if you're hanging around people who are just like not morally there, they're not making you feel good when you're with them, that is where you need to change. That is where you need to understand where there's a lot of room for improvement, right? And so this is when you change what you consume. You change people you hang out with, your environment, and overall your whole outlook on life. You have to be aware of the negative thoughts that come into your mind, the negative patterns, and just observe it. Don't criticize yourself for thinking a certain way. Just know and realize, all right, this is how I'm thinking right now, but also realize, no, I'm gonna change this and see it in a more positive, optimistic view of life, right? So once you can do this. It takes a long time and a lot of practice to get really good at it, because if you're trying to unlearn something, it's going to, obviously, the old beliefs are going to overtake the new ones that you're trying to implement. But if you do it every day and say affirmations, journal, just be more conscious in what you say and what you do, then it'll be you'll see it change in your life. You'll see how you act and how you present yourself in a much different manner, right? So then once you finish acknowledging the fact that you could make a change, you rewire your brain, right? Once you do all this, that's when it's time for the big next step of starting to learn new things, okay? So you're unlearning all the old bullshit, all the stuff that doesn't need to be there, the junk, and you're learning the new things that can force you in the right direction. And now what this consists of, I'm gonna write this down somewhere else, put it like over here. So this can be reading books, right? I have a whole list of books in the description if you want to check them out. Reading books is a huge one, where you can basically just learn about psychology, you can learn about self, about improvement, money. There's so many things you can learn with books. So books, this is probably one of the biggest ones for me that changed my life, is reading books. Then over here, we're going to say courses. And sure, courses can be a scam, but you got to do your research, obviously, find the right things, the things that you're interested in. This can obviously cost some money, up to, we'll say anywhere from like $50 all the way to $3K, all right, even more than that. But you have to be willing to invest into yourself to change all of this, because without change, there is no change, right? Without change, nothing's going to, move in the right direction, all right? So we got books, courses. Sometimes you can learn through just sitting alone, honestly. Like, let's write this right here. Just being bored, right? Not doing anything, and just letting your subconscious mind and your intuition, God, tell you what you should be doing. And learning more about you as a result of just sitting alone in your own skin and getting comfortable being yourself. So there's a lot more that I could cover here, but learning is one of the biggest factors of just overall changing all of this. So you want to be conscious of what you're consuming at all times, and then after doing all this, you can learn everything, right? Like, for example, I love this analogy. God can give you all the ingredients to bake a cake, but nothing will be made. There will be no cake until you decide to take those ingredients and bake it. And the same thing goes for learning shit. You can learn all of this, all of these things, but without this next step, nothing will change. And this next step simply is putting the work in and taking action. You have to implement these things and learn everything that you've taken from the books, the courses, being bored, just sitting around, and actually do it. And this is the part where everyone gets stumped, is they get excited, they're on this journey, they're learning all of these things, but then once they get to the action part, something's holding them back. It's either fear of failure, the fear of, success sometimes. That's another thing too. People don't really see themselves making a lot of money or being in a different position, but you have to just get through that point and break those barriers and just do it anyways. It's going to be scary, it's going to be hard, you're going to go through pain, but the action is necessary. And the action can be in forms of multiple things, whether it's starting your business, hold on, I'm going to write this down, starting biz, right? Working out, yep. Content, this is a huge one. I think content is something everyone should be doing, creating content, traveling, trying new things. Like this, it's basically a big tree. New things. You just have to understand and put your effort and energy into the things that are most important to you. So let's say if you are not happy with your physique, that's when you just focus solely on working out and eating healthier, right? But if you are happy with your physique and you like how you look and how you feel, then you don't really have to worry about this. What's next is, all right, you've learned all this shit, what do you want to do next? You want to start that business, right? Do you want to create content? Or even for some people, if you want to get in a relationship and you're that far down the line, same thing goes for that too. You just have to focus solely on one thing at once. And this is the biggest thing for me too, was you can learn a lot about everything. Learn a little bit about a lot, like Robert Kiyosaki said, I think he said. But if you are focused on 20 different things at once, you will never, ever, ever see results in any of those things just because your energy is put in different points or different areas of focus all the time. You need to focus solely on one thing and make sure that you get really good at that thing. And then once you're good at that, you can eventually go to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And that's how you have a more well-rounded version of yourself, but also you can monetize it, do more, and be just a completely different person after that as a result. So if you want to see results in your life, you have to make a difference. And lastly, I mean, this board's getting kind of full. I'm going to put this right here. Number 5, the big M, momentum. Right? Momentum. You have to get the ball rolling, okay? So this here is probably the biggest example I have of myself and the momentum going on in my life. Last summer, probably about a year ago, I literally made like maybe $0, $1,000 every month just from creating content. And now that it's a year past, I'm making 10K a month from creating content, and even more sometimes. And what's the reason for this is momentum of meeting new people, traveling, creating content, outreach. Like, I could literally, I don't know what I just wrote right there, I could literally go on and on and on and on about all of this for as long as I wanted to, because it's literally just input. The momentum, once you get the ball rolling, things just start to compound over time naturally. Like, that's just the law of the world, really. Like, just like stocks. When you invest more money into something that you believe in, it's going to grow depending on the market. And the market always is growing, especially with like index funds and all that. It goes up at an annual rate of, I think, like 8%. So if you apply that mindset and that belief into your life of it always compounding, you just have to put the input in, then you will always be satisfied. I mean, not satisfied, you'll be fulfilled. You'll be doing the thing and seeing results that you want to see results from, simply because you believed in yourself and you took the action and implemented everything you learned to create momentum. So this whole thing right here, I just want you guys to like look at this again. I love doing this. This is so fun. I feel like a teacher right now. But this whole thing is literally all you need to start from nothing. So I'm gonna get from sad face, nothing, all the way to happy something, all right? Because like, you're not always gonna have everything. You're always gonna get to something. There's always more to learn. But this gap from going from knowledge to rewiring to learning, this is the biggest part right here. That is most important, that people don't really acknowledge. They just get comfortable, they sit where they want to sit, and they don't take action. They sit in the back seat, they don't take a hold of their life and get in the driver's seat. You have to acknowledge it first, rewire, and then learn everything you need to learn. And what I like to say, there's an acronym I have for learning as well, is BAM. So, I mean, this goes hand in hand, B-A-M. You want to invest in yourself with books and all that learning. Then, action. You want to take the steps, the action to get there, and then boom, momentum. Bam! All together, and I like to live by that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I felt, this was so fun to make, honestly. But I feel like a lot of people need to understand this. Hopefully this is all in frame. But without change, there is no change. And that it is completely possible to bring your vision to reality. This, for me, took about 4 to 5 years, and it's not going to happen overnight. But if you believe in your vision and the possibility of making it happen, it will happen. You just have to keep going, keep pushing through, and don't stop. That's where a lot of people stop, is the action and not getting results. You just have to keep going, build up the momentum, and then all of this you can look back on, and you can start telling people about your story and use that as social proof to, inspire others and do your own thing. So once again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. My name is Ian McQueenie. Let me know if you guys like this content. I'll be making more like this in the near future. But yeah, once again, take a screenshot, look at this if you need to, and leave a comment down below what you thought. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.